I'm sorry, what? What? Like, are you trying to say right now that feminism does not have a place for rich white women? Ciao VISIEM, hi y'all. So today we're talking about Lana Del Rey, but we're really talking about white womanhood. We're talking about white women weaponizing their womanhood, about white women weaponizing their tears and their victimhood when they're not even when we're not even victims in this situation. And you know, that's gonna be the conversation. Cleo, you want to say hi? Hi, say hi, baby. He does not want to be a YouTuber. You don't like Lana Del Rey, do you? No, you don't. So just to place my position first, I am at most indifferent about Lana Del Rey. I will say, when video games came out and I was in high school, I was, it's you, it's all for you, you know, through and through. That song was a hit. I loved it, and I listened to like maybe that album or her next album, but that was all when I was in high school. And you know, that depressed, sad girl, cigarettes for breakfast aesthetic really spoke to me as a depressed, sad European girl eating cigarettes for breakfast in high school. So totally. After that, I just kind of, you know, wasn't really into what she was putting out. But I felt no type of way, you know. So it's not coming from like a place of years of hating on her or something. Couldn't care less. Really wasn't interested in what she's doing. But I will say, I think it's important to admit that, I mean, she's highly successful, and her impact is huge. I think she's had a massive impact on our generation, specifically on women, and you know, like her fan base is huge and so on. So I'm gonna put, actually I'm not gonna put nothing below, because the post that I'm referring to is a post she made a day ago. It's on her Instagram, and it's basically a post, you can read it, but it's a post in which she is expressing her dissatisfaction with the fact that she has not been receiving the same recognition, I guess, as Black women and women of color, because her message is something that we as a society and we as feminists have some massive issue with. It's really confusing, but anyways, that is her message. And I think, like, the post, once you read it, there is so much to unpack. It is just so wrong, and it has so many problems in it, even though I think that, like, what she wants to say, you know, like, there is an actual valid issue there. She's just not expressing it. Instead she's just throwing a bunch of like racially charged misogyny out there. But basically there's a lot to unpack, but I'm working really hard on trying to make these videos shorter, so I'm not going to be addressing everything. I really just want to focus on the white womanhood in this post in general, the weaponizing of it, the weaponizing of victimhood, and so on. So that's what I'm going to try to focus on. So to begin with, in the post, the title of the post is Questions for the Culture, which is already it's already like, what culture are you talking about? Okay, which culture are you talking about? Okay, anyways, we'll leave it here. And then she lists this list of women who she says have all had #1 hits, and the list is, I'm just looking here in my notes, Doja Cat, Ariana Grande, Camila Cabello, Cardi B, Kehlani, Nicki, Beyonce. It is an extremely interesting list. I think the first thing just to say is, why are you talking about these women? I think that's the critique I've seen most on the internet, is like, why? Like, why can't white women, why can't we speak our truth? Why can't we, like, you know, talk about our grievances, like do whatever, like raise whatever issue it is, without at the same breath having to just drag some women of color and Black women into this for no fucking reason. Like, the thing is, this list was unnecessary. This whole thing was unnecessary to begin with. But she put it on there, so let's talk about it. I think it's just such an interesting list because it is mostly women of color. It is mostly Black and women of color. But of course, we had to throw a little Ariana Grande and Camila Cabello in there, because otherwise it would, you know, like, if she made a list of solely Black women and women of color, that would be like a huge red flag immediately and instantly for many people. But because she's threw in, you know, that little diversity in there, we have some whiteness in there, so, you know, that immediately stops any type of critique that she's only calling out black women or, you know, anything of the sort. No, no, no. There's Ariana Grande. There's Camila Cabello. However you pronounce that racist girl's name, I don't know. She's trash. Anyways, but what I also think is funny about the list, and I saw, I think, a tweet or something that said, I hope she's not putting Ariana Grande on that list because she thinks that Ariana is a woman of color. And that's the same is true for Camila. Like, they're both white women. And I think that's also a really, really interesting point, because Ariana is somebody who is, you know, she's spray tanned herself into another ethnicity. And that's in general, you know, like the issue with blackfishing, but or brownface, this is a whole other topic of conversation. But the main issue is that women like Ariana can easily like flip-flop between, oh, do I want to be a white woman today or do I want to be a little brown? But actual women of color, actual black women cannot do that, you know? Yeah, so I think that it's interesting to think that this list could actually be seen two ways, depending on how aware you are of these women's ethnicities and, you know, the fact that maybe your nationality and ethnicity is not the same thing. Like Camila is, or, you know, just that Camila is, yeah, she's Cuban, she's white Cuban, okay? But anyways, a whole other conversation. I personally do think that Lana is aware and that she put those two girls on that list to basically stop any accusations that this is a racially, intentionally a list of just women of color or black women. That's why she put them in. I had to take a break because it's really hot in here and open a window. Anyways, moving on. So then she goes on to saying that all of these women have had #1 hits, all singing about being sexy, wearing no clothes, fucking, and cheating. Language matters, y'all. Okay, language matters is the central theme of this whole video. So essentially, when white and black women, or white and women of color, whatever, when women are singing about intercourse, you know, like the same thing, who do we say is singing about fucking and who do we say is singing about making love? Just a question. And she continues with, can I please continue to sing about being embodied, feeling beautiful by being in love? Once again, language. She was just saying that these women are all singing about being sexy, cheating, and fucking, but she's singing about feeling embodied, okay? And by feeling beautiful, by being in love, okay? Language. I just, like, when I see that, I'm genuinely like a little bit taken aback by the fact that someone can actually read this and like not see the clearly like racially coded, the clearly like extremely white womanhood language that she's using, you know? Okay, and then she continues by asking, can I sing about all this stuff without being crucified or labeled as glamorizing abuse? Okay, so the glamorizing abuse point is something I'm not going to be talking about because I don't actually know her lyrics. I don't, apart from like video games, which I guess, I don't know, I was in a semi-abusive relationship back then and it really hit home. I don't know, but I'm sure she has like stuff that is way more explicit and like maybe is actually glamorizing abuse. I have no idea, so I'm just not going to talk about that. But anyway, she's talking about can she sing about all these things without being crucified, which is extremely interesting because the women that you just mentioned who've all had their #1 hits and you're saying, oh, what, look at this, like they can do this, why can't I do this without being crucified, are all women that are heavily crucified. I mean, like, point blank period, black women, whether a celebrity or not, are always going to be crucified more, scrutinized more, attacked more double standards are going to be placed on them, they're going to be critiqued more, ever, forever and always, than you or me, Lana Del Rey, okay? Like, it's just a simple fact, like, why, how are these thoughts and words coming into your head and how are you saying them? And I mean, like, it's also, like, goddamn, before you write that, maybe do like an ounce of research. Kehlani was literally crucified so hard, she almost like committed suicide, you know? Like, look at Cardi B. There is not a thing she could have done without like 50,000 think pieces, all written by men and women, popping up and being like, And I think like somewhere also, whether in the comments or in the post, she was like, oh, you know, people say I'm bringing women back 100 years, you know, like crucifying me. That's all stuff they're saying about these women as well. It just makes no sense. It makes no sense. Then she moves on to saying, I'm fed up with female writers and other singers saying I glamorize abuse and da-da-da-da-da and like all this stuff. Okay, yes, speak on it. I think like it's absolutely true that, you know, she's speaking from a place that's truthful. She's speaking about an issue that is an actual issue and so on. But girl, this is where your post should have started. Like, this is where the beginning should have been. What was with all this dragging in of women of color and black women? What was with all this like coded white woman language and all this like contrasting and double standarding? What was that? Just start your post here. Just start it here. Then she calls herself just a glamorous person. I guess, I don't know. And then she says, I'm not a feminist. Which is just like, yikes, yikes, yikes. Imagine saying that. Imagine saying that. That doesn't sit right with me at all. At all. I don't know. I'm willing, you know, like my mind can be changed. I'm super open-minded and optimistic, but show me one woman who said, I'm not a feminist, but, and then the part that followed was in any way good, okay? I have not experienced that. Then she says the highlight of the post, at least the highlight for me, she says, but there has to be a place in feminism for women who look and act like me. I'm sorry, what? What? Like, are you trying to say right now that feminism does not have a place for rich white women? Am I hearing this right? Like, is this what it is? Mainstream feminism is so white and elitist that we had to put another adjective. We had to call it intersectional feminism when it doesn't center white women, because mainstream feminism is all about white women. It's all about rich white women. It's literally what it is. And it's so much so that a lot of women, me included, have actually, you know, like felt some type of way about even identifying with the label, because it has so much attached, so much of that like Hillary, I'm with her, boss babe, wanna be a CEO, white woman, elitist tone attached to it. I mean, like, how in the world are you, a rich white woman in 2020, going on the internet trying to say that there isn't a space for someone like you in feminism? It's just mind-blowing. I don't know. I mean, no comments here. Like, I don't know what to say to a white wealthy woman saying that she wants women that look like her to have space in feminism. I don't know. And then she continues with, women like me, you know, there has to be space for women like me. The kind of women who say no, but men hear yes. Honey, that's all of us. That's literally all of us. I remember I read that and then I read it again and again because I was just like, I don't understand. Like, you just described a regular schmegular day under patriarchy for all of us. Like, like, not to be like you're not special, but you're not special. That's literally the case for all women. So then she continues with this, I wish there was space for women in feminism, for the kind of women who are slated mercilessly for being their authentic, delicate selves. Once again, that's all women. All women are punished basically for being our authentic selves. And then delicate. Once again, language is so important. I mean, like, I just love this post because it's such a good example of, like, it's a sample of white womanhood, of like weaponizing white womanhood, of using it to contrast yourself, you know, like distance yourself from the other woman and so on. And then she says that she paved the way for other women, which, sans comment, like, just not gonna comment here. The thing us white women do best is weaponize white womanhood, is embody victimhood even when we're not victims, and then weaponize that. It's like, it's legitimately what white women do best. And it has the white woman victim has such deep roots in our culture, and it's just so ingrained that it's extremely easy to do. Extremely easy. I mean, from literally from white women claiming that black men raped them, to fast forward Warren victimizing herself against Sanders, victimizing white womanhood, although she's a woman of color, let's not forget, sorry, to like everything Taylor Swift has ever done. I mean, like the examples are boundless, limitless. There's so many. It's the #1 go-to also for white women when we are called out on anything, because it is extremely easy to not have to take accountability when you paint yourself as a victim. So any white woman who's, you know, like rightfully called out for maybe saying something racist or just saying anything wrong, basically, in any capacity, it's extremely easy to immediately paint yourself as a victim and then weaponize that to push all accountability aside, to change the narrative. You're no longer the person who's guilty perhaps of something, or you're now the victim in this conversation. All these code words of delicate, soft, feminine, vulnerable, these are all extremely racialized code words, because those are adjectives we ascribe to white women that we do not ascribe them necessarily to black women or women of color. So just this whole post, y'all, this whole post is full of that. I mean, full of racialized misogyny. And then in the comments section below the post, she clarifies some things, which basically means she's just like digs the hole even deeper. I mean, it's like a disaster to watch. Like, there's a sentence in which she says, "And don't ever, 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 ever call me racist, bro, because that's just some BS." Because obviously, like, because of course, being called racist is the horrible thing, not the being racist part. That's not as bad. And then also in the comments, she says she has a delicate personality. Bitch, what the fuck is a delicate personality? Like, what is that? You can be delicate, you can, you know, but what is a delicate personality? Like, what does that mean? It's just such great example of language, of using language. Basically, I think the reason that I'm doing this video, the reason I wanted to talk about this, and I want to talk about white womanhood a lot. I could do a lot more videos about this, and I'm doing this video right now because I think we all really need to do a better job of calling it by its name. Like, when that happens, we need to be able to point at that and be like, this is what's happening. This white woman is weaponizing her victimhood, her white womanhood, you know, like, call it what it is, so that we can recognize it and stop white women getting away with it, because it happens all the time. And it happens, you know, among celebrities, and that's why I love pop culture so much, because it's just such great example of politics, of race, gender, class, and, you know, patriarchy, misogyny, racialized misogyny, all of that at play. I mean, like, this example right here is what academics wish their papers had. Okay, this is just amazing. Like, all of that is playing out here. But the same thing is happening in the classroom, in the office, amongst our interpersonal relationships with one another. White women crying, white women tears is just a whole other thing. And, you know, just weaponizing white womanhood, weaponizing their, you know, painting themselves as victims, and so on. Yeah, we just need to recognize that. We need to talk about this more. We need to, us white women need to talk about this more and acknowledge it. Like, acknowledge when we've done this, and take responsibility and take accountability for it, because obviously there are people who already been talking about that. Okay, I want to see white women talking about that specifically and calling it out among ourselves more often. Okay, bonus content if y'all are still here. I don't think I have the technical skills to know how to add tweets in the video, so I'm just gonna read some out. Now is the perfect time to remind everyone that Camila Cabello is not a woman of color. Her ethnicity doesn't magically make her brown. She's a white Cuban. Facts. I'm not going to sleep until I hear what she has to say, Azealia. I know it'll be equal parts correct, problematic, and iconic. Queer Chicano Chisme said that. It's just so true. You're telling me the lady obsessed with 50s aesthetics is racist and misogynist? Jabuki's tweet, Susan B. Anthony helping Lana Del Rey write her Instagram post. I hope y'all can see it. I just love him so much. Yes. There is an article that says for the first time in Billboard history, 4 black women occupied the top 2 of the Billboard Hot 100. This was Lana Del Rey's 9/11. Oof. Oof. The kind of woman who says no, but men hear yes. Bitch, that's all women. You're not special. Yes, thank you. That's literally what I was saying. That's all women. Oh my God, this is my fave from Cassina Minas. You can't call yourself glamorous and then date a cop. She said what she said. There has to be a place in feminism for women who look and act like me. Miss, please, women who look and act like you are responsible for the worst interpretations of feminism. Yes, yes. Lana adding Ariana into her essay so she doesn't come across as racially insensitive. There's the meme of Meg putting some seasoning on food. Yes. Beyonce, if you don't jump to put jeans on, baby, you don't feel my pain, Lana. And I took that personally. Oh my God, I have so many good memes, so much good content on Twitter about this. I'm always happy to go on Twitter and see that there's people who actually share my opinion and there's people who understand. But yeah, that's it from me. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment below. I think I'm doing this right now. I'm a real YouTuber now, guys. Yeah, but actually I want to hear other people's thoughts, and I'm interested in like what can we do, how else can we elevate this conversation about white womanhood and white women weaponizing their womanhood and weaponizing their victimhood when they're not even when we're not even victims, you know, doing all that. I think that we need to find some other methods also to call that out and to deal with it, to maybe, I always like to find metaphors like comparisons because I find that it's easier to get my thoughts across to people that way, people who don't necessarily see it that way. But yeah, that's it from me. I love you all so much and have a wonderful day.